My name's Andrew Stotts, and I'm talking to you about Relentless. I read this great book, Your One Word. I highly recommend it. Excellent. I did a lot of work to identify my word, which is relentless. And in this case, I asked a friend of mine, and he told me he thought I was very relentless in my diet and the way that I eat and fast. So I thought I would talk a bit about that and highlight how I became relentless in this area. The first thing is that I love to read. So I have lots of books, and I've brought out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that I've read just that are really important in this area. And so I'm going to just highlight those and kind of what I learned about it. So let's go through a few of them. One is the Obesity Code. And this is by Fung. He also has a lot of videos online. But I learned a lot about the fact that because people tend to be eating all the time, that is a cause of obesity. And that was kind of new to me, and I really like what I learned from that. So that helped me to think about just eating at fixed periods of time, not throughout the day, no snacks, that type of thing. In fact, for those of you who know me, my mom lives with me, and I've been giving her snacks throughout the day, and I've been thinking I'm gonna have to cut that one back soon because she's getting a little fat. Next one is keto clarity. I had to learn a lot about ketosis and understanding about how you can use intermittent fasting to raise your level of ketones. And so this is your definitive guide to the benefits of a low-carb, high-fat diet by Jimmy Moore and Eric Westman. Excellent book that helped me start to understand. Now, this is a good one, Good Calories, Bad Calories, that I read. It's a pretty thick book, and it's by Gary Taubes. And I found this one really interesting just to try to understand more about calories and the type that I was taking. Again, Gary Taubes did this book, and also a great book, talking a lot about how it is about how we eat all the time, and that's causing it. You can see some of my notes in the book right there. I've got a lot of notes that I've taken in that book to try to understand also about the types of people and all that, but an excellent book on the subject. Then there's Joel Fuhrman, who taught me about super immunity. And I use this book, Super Immunity, as well as his other book, which is called Eat to Live. I use this book to craft my diet. What foods am I eating? But also, and this is important, I use it to craft my mom's diet. So my mom's 79, and she was on 10 different medicines. And I relentlessly studied about nutrition until I could get her off of all those medicines. And by doing that, I had to focus, particularly Joel Fuhrman's books, helped me to understand about nutrition density. My mom doesn't eat a lot, as people don't when they get older, and so it's important that the food they eat is very dense in nutrition. And so what I did is I took every vegetable in particular that was on Joel Fuhrman's list, and you can find his stuff online, and I ranked the different vegetables by their level of nutrition density. And then from that, I crafted a salad for my mom. Now, I was a little bit nervous that my mom may pick and choose. So what I asked my assistant here who works with me at home, I asked her to chop up the salad into all the different components of the salad into little squares, little bits. And then we mix it together, and I eat salad with a spoon. That helped my mom not to necessarily pick and choose, but to eat what was in front of her. Luckily, my mom loves to eat vegetables. But the point is that we were able to use the power of these nutrient-dense foods to get mom off of all the different drugs that she was on, particularly related to the GI, the gastrointestinal system. We were able to do a lot more by adjusting the fiber in her diet rather than taking the different medicines that she was taking. And also, one of the ones that I worked on was getting her off of high blood pressure medication. Now, that's a hard thing to do. But what I did is I read a lot, and I tested beet. So in Thailand, they call it beetroot, but around the world, they may call it beet. You take one beet, and I basically make a smoothie out of that beet, some carrots, some other things. And my mom will drink one in the morning, in between lunch and breakfast and lunch. And then she'll take one in the afternoon between lunch and dinner. And what I found is that brings the blood pressure down pretty substantially. I've been really impressed. So my mom doesn't have any spikes in blood pressure now, and she hasn't taken blood pressure medicine for years. Of course, I'm not a doctor. Well, actually I am. I have a PhD, but just not a medical doctor. And the most important thing is I'm not saying what advice for you. I'm just telling you my story, and that's what I've done. Now, I'll end it with really one of the most highly rated books out there on health that came out only in, let's see, when did this come out? This book came out in 2015 by Michael Greger and with Gene Stone, and it's called How Not to Die. And this book is fantastic about trying to identify how people die and how nutrition can help. And for instance, I learned about Brazil nuts. And my mom eats Brazil nuts almost every day as well as myself, which can keep cholesterol down. So I've been relentlessly pursuing nutrition to get my mom healthy. My mom had a stroke. My dad passed away on the 2nd of August in 2016. And basically, I brought my mom to Bangkok and knew that I could get her into better health. I watched her in the healthcare system in America, and I wasn't satisfied. I pushed doctors and nurses. I fought and fought and fought, but they would not stop giving her drugs and medications, and things just spiraled. But with good love and care, also with great sleep that my mom gets every night, with great food and exercise throughout the day, my mom has gotten off of all 10 of those medicines, and she's living a pretty healthy life now. So that's an example of how I am relentless in the area of nutrition and fasting. For myself, I fast pretty often, but that may be a subject for another relentless video. Have a great day.